Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 2, Verse 1. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Iti Bhagavataha Prishtaha Kshatra Vartam Priyashrayam Prativaktum na Chotseha Okanthayat Smariteshwaraha.
Translation. Shri Sukadeva Goswami said, when the great devotee Uddhava was asked by Vidura to speak on the messages of the dearest Lord Krishna, Uddhava was unable to answer immediately due to excessive anxiety at the remembrance of the Lord.
Text 2. यह पंचहायनो मात्रा प्रातर आशय याचितः तन्निच्छद् रचयन्यस्य सप्रयां बाललीलया.
He was one who, even in his childhood, at the age of 5 years, was so absorbed in the service of Lord Krishna that when he was called by his mother for morning breakfast, he did not wish to have it.
Text 3. स कथं सेवया तस्य कालेन जरसं गतः पृष्टो वार्तां प्रति ब्रूयात् भारतोपादाव अनुश्रमन्.
Uddhava thus served the Lord continually from childhood, and in his old age, that attitude of service never slackened. As soon as he was asked about the message of the Lord, he at once remembered all about him.
Text 4. स मुहूर्तम् अभूत् तूष्णीं कृष्णाङ्घ्रि सुधया भृशं तीव्रेण भक्तियोगेन निमग्नः साधु निर्वतः.
For a moment, he remained dead silent, and his body did not move. He became absorbed in the nectar of remembering the Lord's lotus feet in devotional ecstasy, and he appeared to be going increasingly deeper into that ecstasy.
Text 5. पुलकोद्भिन्न सर्वाङ्गो मुञ्चन् मिलदृशा शुचः पूर्णार्थो लक्षितस्तेन स्नेहपरशरसम्प्लुतः.
It was so observed by Vidura that Uddhava had all the transcendental bodily changes due to total ecstasy, and he was trying to wipe away tears of separation from his eyes. Thus, Vidura could understand that Uddhava had completely assimilated extensive love for the Lord.
Text 6. क्षणकैर्भगवल्लोकान् नृलोकं पुनरागतः विमज्जनेत्रे विदुरं प्रत्याहोधव उत्स्मयन्.
The great devotee Uddhava soon came back from the abode of the Lord to the human plane, and wiping his eyes, he awakened his reminiscence of the past and spoke to Vidura in a pleasing mood.
Text 7. उद्धव उवाच कृष्णद्युमनि निम्लोचे गिर्नेष्व अजगरेणः किं नु नः कुशलं ब्रूयां गतश्रीषु गृहेष्वहम्.
Shri Uddhava said, my dear Vidura, the sun of the world, Lord Krishna, has set, and our house has now been swallowed by the great snake of time. What can I say to you about our welfare?
Text 8. दुर्भागो बत लोकोऽयं यदवो नितरामपि ये संवत्सन्तो न विदुर् हरिं मीन इवोदुपम्.
This universe, with all its planets, is most unfortunate, and even more unfortunate are the members of the Yadu dynasty because they could not identify Lord Hari as the personality of Godhead any more than the fish could identify the moon.
Text 9. इंगितज्ञा पुरुप्रुधा एकारांश्च सात्वतः सात्वतां रषभं सर्वे भूतास्वासम् अमांसतः.
The Yadus were all experienced devotees, learned and expert in psychic study. Over and above this, they were always with the Lord in all kinds of relaxations, and still they were only able to know Him as the One Supreme who dwells everywhere.
Text 10. देवस्य मायया स्पृष्टा ये चान्याद् असद् अश्रिताः भ्राम्यते धीर्न तद्वाक्यैर् आत्मन्य उपतात्मनोहर.
Under no circumstances can the words of persons bewildered by the illusory energy of the Lord deviate the intelligence of those who are completely surrendered souls.
Text 11. प्रदर्श्यात् तप्तां अवित्रप्त दृशां नृणाम् आदायान्तारधायस्तु स्वबिम्बां लोकलोचनम्.
Lord Shri Krishna, who manifested his eternal form before the vision of all on the earth, performed his disappearance by removing his form from the sight of those who were unable to see him as he is, due to not executing required penance.
Text 12. यन्मर्त्यलीलोपययक् स्वयोग माया बलं दर्शयता गृहीतम् विश्वापनं स्वस्य च सौभ्यगर्धेः परं पदं भूषणभूषङ्गन्नम्.
The Lord appeared in the mortal world by his internal potency, Yogamaya. He came in this eternal form, which is just suitable for his pastimes. These pastimes were wonderful for everyone, even for those proud of their own opulence, including the Lord himself in his form as the Lord of Vaikuntha. Thus, his Sri Krishna's transcendental body is the ornament of all ornaments.
Text 13. यद्धर्मसुनोर्बत राजसूये निरीक्षय दृक्स्वस्तयनं त्रिलोकः कार्तस्येन चाद्येह गतं विधौतुर् अर्वाश्रितो कौशलम् इत्यमान्यत.
All the demigods from the upper, lower, and middle universal planetary systems assembled at the altar of the Rajasuya sacrifice performed by Maharaja Yudhishthira. After seeing the beautiful bodily features of Lord Krishna, they all contemplated that he was the ultimate dexterous creation of Brahma, the creator of human beings.
Text 14. यस्यानुरागप्लुतहासरास लीलावलोकप्रतिलब्धमानः व्रजस्त्रियो दृग्भिरनुप्रवृत धियो वसास्तु किल कृतशेषः.
The damsels of Vraja, after pastimes of laughter, humor, and exchanges of glances, were anguished when Krishna left them. They used to follow him with their eyes, and thus they sat down with stunned intelligence and could not finish their household duties.
Text 15. स्वशान्तरूपेष्व इत्रः स्वरूपैर् अभ्यार्थ्यतामानेष्व अनुकम्पितात्मा परावरेशो महद् आंशयुक्तो यजोऽपि जातो भगवान् यथाग्निः.
The personality of Godhead, the all compassionate controller of both the spiritual and material creations, is unborn. But when there is friction between his peaceful devotees and persons who are in the material modes of nature,
All right, Krishna, she's still at home.
Text
He
16.
hasn't gone.
he takes birth just like fire, accompanied by the Mahat Tattva.
Text 16. मां खेदयत्य एतद् अजस्य जन्म विडम्बनं यद् वासुदेवगेहे व्रजे च वासोरिभयादिव स्वयं पुराद्यववास्तेद् यद् अनन्तवीर्यः.
When I think of Lord Krishna, how he was born in the prison house of Vasudeva, although he is unborn, how he went away from his father's protection to Vraj and lived there incognito out of fear of the enemy, and how, although unlimitedly powerful, he fled from Mathura in fear. All these bewildering incidents give me distress.
Text 17. दुनोति चेतः स्मरतो ममैतत् यद् आह पादावभिवद्य पित्रोः ताताम्बकं साधुरुशङ्कितानां प्रसीदतं नो कृतनिष्कृतिनाम्.
Lord Krishna begged pardon from his parents for their Krishna and Balram's inability to serve their feet due to being away from home because of great fear of Kamsa. He said, O mother, O father, please excuse us for this inability. All this behavior of the Lord gives me pain at heart.
Text 18. को वा अमुष्याङ्घ्रि सरोजरेणुं विस्मर्तुम् ईशित पुमान् विजिग्रन् यो विस्फुरद्भ्रुवितापेन भूमेर् भारं कृतात्तेन वित्राश्चकार.
Who, after smelling the dust of his lotus feet even once, could ever forget it? Simply by expanding the leaves of his eyebrows, Krishna has given the death blow to those who were burning the earth.
Text 19. दृष्टा भवद्भिर्नानुरजसूये चेद्यस्य कृष्णं दुष्टोऽपि सिद्धिः यां योगिनः संस्पृपयन्ति स्म यत् योगेन च तद्विरहं सहेत.
You have personally seen how the king of Chedi, Shishupal, achieved success in yoga practice. Although he hated Lord Krishna, even the actual yogis aspire after such success with great interest by performance of their various practices. Who can tolerate separation from him?
Text 20. तथैव चान्ये नरलोकवीरा य आहव कृष्णमुखारविन्दं नेत्रैः पिबन्तो नयनाभिरामं पार्थास्त्रपूतः पदम् आपुरस्य.
Certainly, others who were fighters on the battlefield of Kurukshetra were purified by the onslaught of Arjuna's arrows, and while seeing the lotus like face of Krishna, so pleasing to the eyes, they achieved the abode of the Lord.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you very much for the beautiful recitations. Really nice recitations, Rita Mataji and Shriya Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Govinda Prabhuji, are you there? I know he's joined. His name is appearing in the participants list, but he's not available at the moment. So,
I'm so sorry.
oh, Hare Krishna, there you are, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Sorry, I just had to leave the seat just for a little short while. Thank you so much. I do apologize, everyone. And also thank you so much to the reciters for the Sanskrit and for the English as well. Thank you so much. So beautifully recited. I'm just going to share my screen. Just let me know if you can see this.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, that's good. Okay, thank you everyone for joining in for today's chat class. This is 6th of October, and today we're going to be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, titled Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3, which is the status quo, Chapter 2, Remembrance of Lord Krishna, and the verses that we're going to be reading. Just make sure I've got this right. 5, 6, and 7. Is that right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. I have to apologize. I think I've made my notes on the wrong verses today. Okay. Anyway, we'll start off. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayan Namaskritcham Naram Chaiva Narottanam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraya Narshashu Bhadrashu Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatamutam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. Okay, verse number 5. Pulakadabhina sarvango muncha milatusha sucha punato lakshita stena sneha prashada samluta. Translation: was so observed by Vidura that Uddhava had all the transcendental bodily changes due to total ecstasy, and he was trying to wipe away tears of separation from his eyes. Thus Vidura could understand that Uddhava had completely assimilated extensive love for the Lord. Okay, the symptoms pop up by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The symptoms of the highest order of devotional life were observed by Vidura, the experienced devotee of the Lord, and confirmed Uddhava's perfectional stage of love of Godhead. Static bodily changes are manifested from the spiritual plane and not artificial expressions developed by practice. There are 3 different stages of development in devotional service. The first stage is that of following the regulated principles prescribed in the codes of devotional service. The second stage is that of assimilation and realization of the body with a steady condition of devotional service. And the last stage is that of ecstasy symptomized by transcendental bodily expression. The 9 different modes of devotional service, such as hearing, chanting, and remembering, are the beginning of the process. By regular hearing of the glories and powers of the Lord, the purities in the student's heart begin to be washed off. The more one is cleansed of impurities, the more one becomes fixed in devotional service. Gradually, the activities take the form of steadiness, firm faith, taste, realization, and assimilation, one after another. These different stages of gradual development increase love of God to the highest stage, and in the highest stage, there are still more symptoms such as affection, anger, and attachment, gradually rising in exceptional cases to the Mahabhava stage, which is generally not possible for the living entities. All these were manifested by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the personification of love of God. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami, the chief disciple of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, these transcendental symptoms displayed by pure devotees like Uddhava are systematically described. We've written a summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu entitled The Nectar of Devotion, and one may consult this book for more detailed information on the science of devotional service. So just before I go into the next 2 verses, I recite the invocation prayers. Please to join in. Om Jnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakchurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kakanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shabana Sata Devi Prana Mami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pujayane Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Pashya Desatayane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you very much everyone for joining in once again. I kindly seek the blessings of my spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Swami, and to all the Vaishnavas who are listening on this call. Please allow me to speak on the wonderful topics and verses of Shri Radha and Krishna from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And please forgive me if I do make any mistakes. I do apologize. I did make some notes from our previous verse. So what I'll do, I'll start off with this verse anyway, since we've read it. So here it's explaining that Vidura, when he notices Uddhava, actually, when he reminisces Lord Krishna, he starts, his personality changes, his body's all frozen, his hair standing on end, tears are flowing from his eyes, and he seems to be in a bit of a shock. And when Vidura actually sees his ecstatic bodily changes, he understands they're not sort of artificial expressions at all. They're on the highest spiritual level. And these are the symptoms for the pure devotees. Sometimes you may see certain people who are sort of experience certain bhav. And then, of course, if they are pure devotees, yes, it's genuine. And in fact, many times when Srila Prabhupada was saying Jayarada Madhava, it's sort of going a trance and, and tears would be flowing from his eyes. And people, the devotees would look at Srila Prabhupada, not understanding exactly what's happened to Srila Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada would wake up from his samadhi and just say, okay, everybody, please just continue chanting Hare Krishna. So as Srila Prabhupada explains in this particular purport, there are 3 different stages of development in devotional service. The first stage, he explains, is the regulator principles. Without following the regulator principles, you can't really spiritualize and advance yourself because you're sort of contaminating your mind, your senses, your desire to serve Krishna and the devotees with a tinge of material activities, sometimes known as karma kanda. So when you actually follow the regulator principles, you're actually surrendering, you're showing some form of austerity, some form of sincerity, a way of actually saying, my dear Krishna, if I really want to feel the ecstatic love of coming to your sort of spiritual path, let me abstain from certain things. And of course, in Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada has actually mentioned the 4 particular vices that we must try and avoid: no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and no meat eating. So that would also include tea and coffee. And now everybody's become a nation of tea drinkers and coffee drinkers. Everywhere you go, you see Starbucks, you see Costa. But the certain ingredients and some of this food stuff actually affects your consciousness, and it refrains you from or restricts you from actually developing that pure love of Godhead. Similarly, when you're eating meat, of course, you're already killing a soul, a living entity, which has the right to live, just like the way you have a right to live. And that's not what Krishna wants. Krishna specifically says in Bhattam Vaishvam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati, if one offers me with love and devotion, leaf, flower, fruit, or water, I shall accept. Similarly, gambling, when you actually misuse money, gambling yourself as well, it's actually considered to be wasting time, wasting energy, wasting resources in one's life when they can actually use that in serving Krishna, serving Krishna's devotees. We've been born in a certain situation where some people have a lot more wealth than others. If we utilize it in a certain way, by printing books, by using it for development of building a temple, using it for preaching programs, serving the devotees, building Goshalas, building facilities to serve the elderly devotees, Krishna will always reward you. There's nothing that Krishna needs at all, because after all, His Holiness Bhaktacharya Swami explained that Krishna is the reservoir of all wealth. If you look at Lakshmi Devi, how many Lakshmi Devis there are, the goddess of fortune, there are millions and millions of goddess of fortunes, each residing in every material universe alongside their dear husband, Lord Vishnu. If you can imagine, if there's millions and millions of Lakshmi, and these Lakshmi Devis are all surrendering unto Krishna as well. So you can see there's no need for any money at all, but Krishna wants to see our way of surrender to serving the devotees in a way that we utilize any material possessions that we have and serving it for the better use of Krishna consciousness. You may have a big house, you may have a small house, But if you invite the devotees, Krishna sees that accordingly to your capacity. Similarly, if you have a nice car or not such a nice car, but if you're using it, serving the devotees, taking it, going to the temple and back again, picking up bhoga, picking up items for the use of the devotees in the temple services, you can actually see Krishna doesn't see that you've got a beautiful car. This is what I want to be served in. No, even Srila Prabhupada was happy whether it was a rickshawala or a nice car. And when he was questioned by a reporter, well, you seem to have a lot of posh cars, like a Rolls Royce. You've been living in a Rolls Royce. I mean, if you're a sadhu, if you're renounced, why are you driving in such opulent cars? And Srila Prabhupada explained that, I could drive in any car. If it's a bullock cart or a Rolls Royce, it doesn't matter. But what it is, the importance is the mood of the devotee that they want to serve their spiritual master. If they provide me with a bullock cart, I'm happy. If they provide me with the most expensive car, I'm happy. But as long as I'm using it for Krishna service, that's the most important thing. And the second stage of devotional service, Prabhupada explains in this particular verse, is assimilation and realization of the steady condition of devotional service. So assimilation and realization, devotional service comes in different ways. What is it that you realize in your devotional service? So everybody asks this question, how do I know I'm advancing in spiritual life? Does it give an idea of how they are recognized to see that they're advancing in spiritual life, or somebody asks that question to them? How do you know if you are advancing in your spiritual life? Anybody? Okay, so Bhakti Swami, once again, he mentions that you can see yourself advancing in your devotional service because you have a desire to continue serving with love, with affection, without any hesitation, without any sort of uh, return or some reward for in exchange for that devotional service. You're being enthusiastic in attending the temple activities, the festivities. You're engaged in different devotional service, no matter what it is. You're always enhancing and learning more and more and more about the wonderful glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You're engaged in devotional service, and by waking up early in the morning, following the regulated principles. In this way, if you're advancing in your spiritual life, you can see that there isn't a hindrance in your spiritual bhakti. You want to develop more faith, more shrad, in acquiring more devotional service, and attaining more spiritual knowledge, serving the devotees, serving their lordships, cooking prasada for the devotees. In so many ways, you can see yourself. Am I sort of lacking my desire and shouting around? Am I feeling lazy, not waking up in the morning? Do I have a reluctance in reading Srila Prabhupada's books, the Srimad Bhagavatam? Do I prefer to watch TV? Do I prefer to go out with my friends, do karmic activities, and then come to the temple and getting a mixed sort of feelings about my spiritual sadhana? And it does happen. A lot of devotees get confused because, unfortunately, we've been born in this material world where we've been trained up in living in the material world, which is full of, I suppose, desires. We want desires for everything in our life, from the latest mobile phone, latest car, latest gadgets. And we have an inclination to always want to be better than somebody else, want to be better, we want to be recognized. We want some sort of attention. Just like in social media, everybody's fighting amongst themselves to get some attention, to get as many likes as possible. But what is it that you want in your life? Is it material desires or is it devotional desires? So when you're advancing in your spiritual practice, you can see that there's always a taste above for acquiring more and more all the time. Now, the third stage, Prabhupada explains about stages of devotional service. Second stage, okay. It's also the last stage is this ecstasy symptomized by transcendental bodily expression. So This is one of the stages at the highest stage, and we'll speak a little bit about that. And then Srila Prabhupada explains about the 9 different processes of devotional service. Now, does anybody know the particular verse from where Sri Prahlad Maharaj recites this particular verse? Sri Kishore Mataji, I'm sure you know this verse. Okay, I'll recite it to you. Or does anybody want to recite it? Everyone's feeling very shy today. Okay, I hope you can hear me okay. Shri Prahlad Vacha Shravanam Ketanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Achanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam Iti Pumsa Pita Vishnu Bhaktish Chainava Lakshana Kriyeta Bhagavati Yada Dhamanye Ditam Uttamam. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, verses 23 and 24. This is the beautiful pastimes of Lord Nrsimhadev, how he saves his dear devotee Prahlad Maharaj. Translation. Prahlad Maharaj said, hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering the Lord one's best friend, surrendering everything unto him. In other words, serving him with the body, mind, and words. These 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. So following these 9 processes of devotional service, the most important is Shravanam, is hearing. And this is what all of us are doing right now. We're hearing the glories of the Srimad Bhagavatam. We're hearing from somebody who's reciting the Leelas, pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But also Srila Prabhupada explains that we have to be careful. There's different types of reciters, orators of the spiritual scriptures. There's the professional people, and there's also those transcendentalists. The professional, they may be very good at speaking, they may be very good at getting attention from the audience, they may be very lively in their sort of teaching, in their method of speaking about the particular leaders of the Srimad Bhagavatam, but they may not have any direct desire of devotional service to the Supreme Lord. It may be for a particular reason, for acquiring some money, for doing these kathas. Whereas a transcendentalist was actually an authorized person from the parampara who's been given the instructions, has been given the blessings by his own spiritual master to recite on the glories of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Is when he speaks from the topics of the Srimad Bhagavatam, it talks from his heart to another person who wants to, so he can actually imbibe that spiritual knowledge to this person who's also listening, just like the way Krishna explains the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Arjuna is becoming surrendered, it's becoming very soft, and he says, my dear Lord, please instruct me, what should I do? And Krishna explains about the different processes of yoga to Arjuna. So similarly, we have to be very careful. There's many people out there in the world who are sort of professional reciters of the Srimad Bhagavatam, but we have to try and follow those who are actually genuine in the parampara, or at least somebody you can see by their qualities, by their nature, by their personality, they are completely devoted to serving the Lord, and they don't really have any reason for having anything in return. It's like I went to India recently, earlier this year, and of course, most of us had this experience when you go to India. When you go to a temple, unfortunately, everybody's looking for a donation to serve, of course. To give a donation is so important, because if you don't give a donation when you go to take darshan of the lordships of a particular temple, then that darshan has become nullified. It doesn't have any value at all. Everyone should at least give some donation in some way or another. But sometimes we do get harassed by certain Brahmins saying, please, please, please give us this, give us that. I went to one particular temple in South India, such a beautiful temple. It had the beautiful Gopuram design with the beautiful murtis of different Leela and Pasams of the Supreme Lord on the outside of the Gopuram. When I went in, the Brahmana was such a learned and very soft-hearted person, and he showed us around the temple, the different areas. He showed us historically the symbolic representation of the different deities around there. Beautiful, beautiful darshan of all the lordships. And at the end, I wanted to give him a donation because he showed us all these places so nicely. But the first thing he said, no, 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 I don't want any donation. If you want to give, just give in the donation box. And of course, I wanted to give to him personally. He was just an elderly person and he was showing us around everywhere. And he did it with so much love, care, and affection because he wanted to imbibe that spiritual knowledge which he had acquired from his spiritual teachers and pass it on to us as well. So these are wonderful qualities of the devotees that you see. Now, when we were talking about earlier on about the different symptoms, so of course we all know Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is one of the greatest example that showed pure ecstatic symptoms of love of Godhead. Sometimes he'd go running away from his party, crying for Krishna. If he sees a puddle of water, he thinks it's the Yamuna River. If he sees a rock, he thinks it's Govinda, and he embraces the rock and it melts away. So it's so amazing. I'm not sure if some of you have been to Jagannath Puri. There's a temple nearby. I can't remember. Can't remember the name of the temple. But basically, Lord Chaitanya, when he fell down out of mood of ecstatic symptoms for the love of God, for love of Radha and Krishna, the rock he fell on top of it actually melted, and there's a formation of Lord Chaitanya on that particular rock, and you can actually see that rock actually enshrined in a temple in probably about an hour's drive from Jagannath Puri. It's a beautiful temple. If you haven't been there, please do get a chance and opportunity to see that particular temple. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his Sikshastakam prayers, there's two beautiful verses that come to my mind when he's talking about pure ecstatic symptom. I'll just ask if anybody wants to recite these two verses and the translation. Any volunteers?
I can do it, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Please accept my
Yes.
humble obeisances. All glories to Srila
Oh, thank
Prabhupada.
you. Thank you. Please go ahead. It's verse number 6 and 7.
Okay. Sikshastakam. Nayanam galadashrudaraya Vadanam gadgadarudhaya gira Pulakairnichitam vapukada Tava nama grahane bhavishyati Yugayitam nimeshena Chakshusha pravrishayitam Shunyayitam jagat sarvam Govinda virahe name. Hare Krishna.
Jai, thank you so much. Mataji, could you recite
Read
the
the
English
English
as
one
well?
also?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you,
please.
Prabhuji. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
So,
Hare Krishna.
thank you so much. So beautifully
Hare Krishna.
recited. It's such a lovely recitation. Thank you so much. Mataji, what was your name, please?
Mamta Mataji.
Oh, Mamta Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Just your
Prabhuji.
name's
Hare
not
Krishna.
coming on the screen. Thank you. Yeah, Mamta Mataji recited this beautiful verse, and we should also make an effort to try and remember these verses. They're so beautiful. These are the 8 prayers by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he passed to his devotees. And this one is so nice because when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? And most of us, well, certainly in my case anyway, we sometimes feel, oh, I've got to chant my rounds. Okay, let me chant my round. And sometimes it's very automated and I don't really always feel the symptoms. But then there's other times when I'm going through difficulties in my life and certain situation which is causing me a bit of anxiety, then that's when I really think of the Lord and I think, oh, Krishna, please help me, please help me. Of course, that's not the best way because I'm still in a form of distress. It's like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, there's 4 types of pious people who worship me: those who are in distress, those who desire wealth, those who are inquisitive, those who are searching for the absolute truth. And certainly when you're in distress, you're praying. Of course, Krishna will answer your prayers too, but he really wants you to pray to him for any particular tinge of personal reward in any way. So sometimes when our voices choke up, when somebody sings, and our hairs stand on body, and then certainly when you go for Shringa Arati in the morning, 7 o'clock darshan in the morning, and you see the curtains open and you hear the beautiful voice of Yamuna Devi singing into the Brahma Samhita Govinda prayers, and you see the beautiful Lord, the beautiful smile, the beautiful eyes, the beautiful colors and dresses that they're wearing. It certainly touches your heart so much, and you wish that feeling could be there, throughout the day without any sort of difficulty, without any sort of tinge of unwanted desires in you at all. Because that feeling is one of the best feelings that I personally experienced. I'm sure some of you have felt. Would anyone like to give a little sort of realizations on themselves when they've had to cry to the Lord, perhaps when they've seen the darshan of the deities, when they've seen a particular devotee speaking a particular verse or something? Anybody? If they're not feeling too intimidated?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Madhavan
No,
Pranam.
yeah, no, Ratavataji, yes, please.
Prabhuji, when I first went to Jagannath Puri, the feeling was very different, Prabhuji. And the second time also, when I went to first time when I went to Vrindavan, and I went to Barsana, Prabhuji, it was just, I'm not able to describe the feeling, Prabhuji, but it was out of the world. It was just extremely beautiful when I went to Barsana and Jagannath Puri, Prabhuji.
Oh, so thank you so much, Namrata Mataji, for sharing that. Anybody else had that feeling of love, feeling of, wow, what is it that I'm feeling that I've never felt before in my life? If you don't feel, you don't need to reveal so much, but if you feel, I'm sure most of you have felt something in your life, some connection when you've met a spiritual authority, or somebody's given a particular class and is sort of talking about a particular topic and it's almost addressing to a certain situation that you felt. And as
Hare,
number, yeah, go
Hare
ahead,
Krishna
Mamta
Prabhuji. I
Mataji.
think, sorry Prabhuji, I interrupted you. I
Yeah, sure,
guess
carry
I think sometimes when these verses, when we sing Prabhuji, somehow it really hits you so much. And most of the time I find myself really very emotional and I can't even control. So I feel as though, like today I was just doing another class, something I was doing this Bhishma Stuti prayers. And the
Yeah,
last verse hit me so badly that I couldn't stop myself actually crying.
yeah,
There's another one book. Some songs I do sing and I feel really very emotional. And I
yeah,
feel as though, I don't know whether it is some thing, but, and also when we went to, as Mataji also said, the moment we touched Vrindavan, we felt like it was such a different feeling altogether. And
mm,
Radha Ramanji, I went to Radha Banke Bihari Ji. I mean, all those
yeah,
idols, when we see, it is a different feeling, very difficult to describe. And Puri Jagannath, of course, I mean, it's so difficult to get the darshan properly because people are pushing around. So
yeah,
no
yeah,
time. But yes, for me, I feel so much strong when I'm singing the songs to Krishna. I really feel it so strong. So I feel, I don't know whether that is what,
yes.
I feel connected sometimes. So That's what I feel, Prabhuji.
No, thank you so much for sharing that. I
Krishna.
really appreciate you sharing that and the Namrata Mataji, because the thing is, I know these are confidential feelings and it shouldn't be revealed to everybody, but because we're in a small group and we meet every day, it's not like we're trying to address to the world, oh, look, I have tears in my eyes or anything. No, this is quite personal. It's like exchanging the thoughts of your mind to another but devotee as well, revealing your mind, just one of the 6 exchanges of love. And yes, 100%, because the name of the Lord is no different from the Lord himself. The name, the qualities, pastimes are non different from the Lord. And that's why in this particular age of Kali is descended specifically so that he could actually, this is the Yuga Avatar, when we actually recite the holy name of the Lord, it's non different from seeing the Lord himself. And so 100% when I'm listening to a particular song by a particular devotee, there's a certain feeling that resonates within your heart and it takes you to another level. For the last 4 or 5 months, I've been listening a lot to His Holiness Kadamakanana Maharaj. And although I've known him to be a beautiful singer, but all of a sudden I've got this attraction by listening to his kirtan, even when I'm working, listening to the headphones, listening to his kirtans. And I certainly, sort of suggest to all of you, if you do get an opportunity, go to Spotify, type in Kadamakanana Swami and listen to his songs, because it's just like Ayendra Prabhu, it has a particular style of kirtans, a particular mood, particular flow of love for the Supreme Lord, and actually imbibe that qualities that you feel like, wow, this is amazing the way you're singing. And the same I feel certainly with so many spiritual teachers, spiritual leaders, Srila Prabhupada, when you listen to his kirtans as well, so quite amazing. And it actually touches you because the song itself has a certain melody and a certain tune, a certain way that certain devotees pronounce the particular songs, the lyrics, really touches strikes a chord in your heart as well. And as Mamta Mataji was mentioning about how when she went to see the Lord and also Namrata, when they see Mataji, when she sees Lord Jagannath, tears flow from your eyes. I mean, there's a certain feeling. I hope you don't mind if I sort of say something too. Basically, first time I went to the Vrindavan was in 1988. And although I was Krishna conscious, but I didn't really appreciate it as much as I did later on. When I went in 2010 with my children, and they were quite young, and we went on parikram and we did the whole parikram. And when I saw their lordships, rather Shamasundar, just tears started flowing from my eyes, and I couldn't understand. And the same thing happened last year when I went. Although it was Kartik and it was so busy, people pushing, shoving. But when you see the beautiful lordships of Radha Shamasundar, Krishna Balaram in Vrindavan, it just touches your heart so much. And of course, the devotees, when you see them completely detached and surrendered, and the austerities they go through, traveling from their country, living in an austere way, crowded, but still they're all wanting to take the darshan of the Supreme Lord. So thank you for sharing that, everyone. I'll just go to the next verse because I believe there's a kirtan today. Verse number 6, Sanake Bhagavalokan Nirlokan Punakata Vimrijya Nitre Viduram Vityodava Utsmayan. Translation: The great devotee Uddhava soon came back from the abode of the Lord to the human plane, and wiping his eyes, he awakened his reminiscence of the past, spoke to Vidura in a pleasing mood. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, when Uddhava was fully absorbed in the transcendental ecstasy of love of God, he actually forgot all about the external world. The pure devotee lives constantly in the abode of the Supreme Lord, even in the present body, which apparently belongs to this world. The pure devotee is not exactly on the bodily plane, since he is absorbed in the transcendental thought of the Supreme. When Uddhava wanted to speak to Vidura, he came down from the abode of the Lord Dwarka to the material plane of human beings. Even though a pure devotee is present on this mortal planet, he is here in relation to the Lord for engagement in transcendental love and service and not for any material cause. A living entity can live either on the material plane or in the transcendental abode of the Lord in accordance with the existential condition. The conditional changes of the living entity are explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in the instructions given to Srila Rupa Goswami by Lord Sri Chaitanya. The living entities all over the universe are enjoying the effects of these respective fruitive results of their own work, life after life. Out of all of them, some may be influenced by the association of a pure devotees and thus get the chance to execute devotional service by attainment of taste. This taste is the seed of devotional service. One who is fortunate enough to have received such a seed is advised to sow it in the core of his heart. And that seed doesn't come actually naturally, it doesn't come by chance. That seed, that taste of devotional service comes by the mercy of the spiritual master. So when you have the mercy of the spiritual master, he gives that seed of devotional service and implants it into your heart. As one cultivates a seed by pouring water to fructify it, that seed of devotional service sown in the heart of the devotee may be cultured by pouring water, the form of hearing and chanting of the holy name, pastimes of the Lord. The creeper of devotional service, so nourished, gradually grows. The devotee, acting as a gardener, goes on pouring the water of constant hearing and chanting. The creeper of devotional service gradually grows so high that it passes through the entire material universe and enters into the spiritual sky, growing still higher and higher until it reaches the planet Goloka Vrindavan. The devotee gardener is in touch with the abode of the Lord, even from the material plane, by dint of performing devotional service to the Lord, simply by hearing and chanting. As the creeper takes shelter of another, stronger tree, similarly, the creeper of devotional service, nourished by the devotee, takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, thus becomes fixed. When the creeper is fixed, then the fruit of the creeper comes into existence. The gardener who nourished it is able to enjoy this fruit of love, and his life becomes successful. Tatudava Jain. This stage is evident from this dealings. He could simultaneously reach the supreme planet and still appears in this world. And the final verse number 7, Udava Vacha Krishna Mane Nimloche Girneshva Ajakarenaha Kimnuna Kushalam Puruyam Gata Shrishu Griheshvaham. Translation. Sudava said, My dear Vidura, the Son of the world, Lord Krishna, has said, and our house has now been swallowed by the great snake of time. What can I say to you about our welfare? Purport. The disappearance of Krishna's son may be explained as follows. According to the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Vidura was struck with great sorrow when he got the hint of the annihilation of the great Yadu dynasty as well as of his own family, the Kuru dynasty. Uddhava could understand the grief of Vidura, and therefore he first of all wanted to sympathize with him by saying that after the sunset, everyone is in darkness. Since the entire world was merged in the darkness of grief, neither Vidura nor Uddhava nor anyone else could be happy. Uddhava was as much aggrieved as Vidura, and there was nothing further to be said about their welfare. The comparison of Krishna to the sun is very appropriate. As soon as the sun sets, darkness automatically appears, but the darkness experienced by the common man does not affect the sun itself, either at the time of sunrise or of sunset. Lord Krishna's appearance and disappearance are exactly like that of the sun. He appears and disappears in innumerable universes. And as long as he is present in a particular universe, there is all transcendental light in that universe. But the universe from which he passes away is put into darkness. His pastimes, however, are everlasting. The Lord is always present in some universe. Just as the sun is present in either the eastern or the western hemisphere, the sun is always present either in India or in America. But when the sun is present in India, the American land is in darkness. And when the sun is present in America, the Indian hemisphere is in darkness. The sun appears in the morning and gradually rises to the meridian, then again sets in one hemisphere while simultaneously rising in the other. So Lord Krishna's disappearance in one's universe, the beginning of his different pastimes, in another takes place simultaneously. As soon as one pastime is finished here, it's manifested in another universe. And thus is Nityalila, eternal pastimes are going on without ending. As the sunrise takes place once in 24 hours, Similarly, the pastimes of Lord Krishna takes place in a universe once in a daytime of Brahma, the account of which is given in the Bhagavad Gita as 4,300,000, 4.3 billion solar years. But wherever the Lord is present, all his different pastimes as described in the revealed scriptures takes place at regular intervals. As the sunset, the snake becomes powerful. Thieves are encouraged, ghosts become active, the lotus becomes disfigured, and the Chakravarti laments. So with the disappearance of Lord Krishna, the atheists feel enlivened, the devotees become sorry. So I just quickly wanted to share something with you. I know we've got bhajan coming up. When we were talking on the first verse, we were talking about developing the different stages of devotional service that Prabhupada explained about, first of all, following the rules and regulative principles. Then you get the assimilation and realization, and then you get the full bhav. So in the different chapters, there's the 9 stages of Bhakti Yoga, and they explain in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The first one is Shraddha, which is faith. Second is Sadhusanga, association with devotees. Third one is Bhajana Kriya, performance of devotional service. 4, Anartha Nivriti, decreasing of unwanted attachment. 5 is Nishta, steadiness. 6 is Ruchi, taste. 7 is Ashakti, attachment. 8 is Bhava, love. And 9 is Prema, pure love of Krishna. Of course, as we understand, Uddhava was a cousin, direct cousin of Krishna. His father, Devabhaga, was also the brother of Vasudeva, Krishna's father. So these were the symptoms that he was, or rather symptoms was witnessed by Vidura. And these, of course, these are the 9 stages. Of course, just following the first stage, Shraddha, is the most important, having complete faith in the Supreme Personality of God, despite any difficulties that we're always facing and challenges that we have. So I'll conclude there. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Please forgive me for any offenses I've made, if I've made any mistakes as well. Now I'll pass it over to Shriji Kishore Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, my Dhanvan Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhuji, for today's bhajan, we have our dear Mat Shamla Rao Mataji singing the bhajan. And we've got Orpita, dear Orpita, who'll be doing the English translation. The bhajan is Jai Radha Madhav Daite. Orpita, when you're ready, if you could start with the translation, and then Shamla Rao Mataji, if you can do the bhajan. Thank you. Thank you, Jyoti Mataji, for sharing.
Do you want me to share? Or
if you want, Prabhuji, yes. If not, I'm sure Jyoti
Krishna.
Mataji have it open.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Let's get the song. Jaya Radha, Jaya Krishna.
It is Radha Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite.
Oh, Radha. Beg your pardon.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Orpita, when you're ready. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Translation. O Radha, O beloved of Madhava, O you who are worshipped by all the young girls of Goloka, all glories to you, all glories to you. You who dress yourself in such a way as to increase Lord Damodar's love and attachment for you, O Queen of Vrindavan, which is the pleasure grove of Lord Hari. O new moon that has arisen from the ocean of King Vrishabhanu, O friend of Lalita, O you who make Visakha loyal to you, due to your wonderful qualities of friendliness, kindness, and faithfulness of Krishna. O you who are filled with comparison, O you whose divine characteristics are described by the great sages Sanaka and Sanatana, O Radha, please be merciful to me. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'm having a bit of cold, so please forgive me for not being able to sing properly, but I'll try my best. Hare Krishna. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daiti Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahiti Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daiti Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahiti Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daiti Damodararati Vardhanaveshi Harinishkuta Vrindavipineshi Damodararati Vardhanaveshi Harinishkuta Vrindavipineshi Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daiti Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahiti Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daiti Vrishabhanudadi Navashashileke Lalita Sakhi Gunaramita Vishake Vrishabhanudadi Navashashileke Lalita Sakhi Gunaramita Vishake Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daiti Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahiti Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daiti Karunam Kurumai Karunabharite Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite Karunam Kurumai Karunabharite Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daiti Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahiti Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daiti Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daiti Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Jai, thank you so much, Shamla, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Are you
Hare
allowed to
Krishna.
share, put your video on so we can all say Haribol to you? Or are you feeling shy?
No, I mean, okay. It's just that I'm having cold, and so
That's okay. It's a
I'm not in
devotion in the
the
heart.
proper. So yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, everyone. 3 Haribols to Shamla Mataji for beautifully recited this verse.
Haribol.
Haribol,
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 Haribol.
Haribol. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful week. Manchakapa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya
Sindhubhya
Evacha
evacha
Patitanam
patitanam
Pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo
namo
Namaha.
namaha.
Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila
Jai,
Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare
Jai,
Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, everyone.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhuji,
Thank
for
you
the
so
nice
much.
class.